এখনো না, কিন্তু চলো।
দাঁড়াও, টুপি টুপি খুলো।
कर दे, उतार दे। দুটা ইউনিট বিজয় থেকে পাঠাও। I'm going to draw them away from you. Run.
Attacked by the goonies from hell. We met on the planet. There's about 200 cops over out. Colin. Holding.
I'm moving in for a closer look.
Nick, you're gonna want to see this.
What is meters and close you fast.
Gee. Kid.
Tyler.
Shut up.
Go!
Come on.
That's fucked. The sergeant could have a
Bridge.
How far past the gate?
One gate. No, left.
I'm in survival mode.
Scene.
Right, go. Get upstairs. Go, come on.
All right, kid, you trust me?
No.
Stay on back.
Get in, kid. Come on.
The trunk.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna...
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into a film that redefines action-packed Extraction from 2020. This is a passion project for me, and a like or a subscribe is the best way to show your support. So if you're on board, join the crew. If not, thanks for watching anyway. Our story kicks off with Tyler Rake, played by the perpetually intense and perpetually muscular Chris Hemsworth. We find him in a moment of unsettling tranquility. Shirtless and scarred, his back a roadmap of past battles and bad decisions, he meditates by a cliff's edge. The warm, humid air around him, it's thick with the buzz of unseen insects, a stark contrast to the quiet intensity in his eyes. He's clearly carrying the weight of the world, or at least a significant portion of it, probably along with a few thousand deadweight reps in the gym. With a deep breath, he takes a long, slow, almost ceremonial dive into the tranquil, crystal clear lake below. The plunge into the cool water is a momentary reprieve, a visual metaphor, perhaps, for trying to wash away past demons, or maybe just, getting a quick, very dramatic dip in before the world decides to throw more problems his way. The rush of water in his ears, the brief silence beneath the surface, seems to be his only escape from the constant internal roar. But the peace doesn't last because Rake's life is about to get very, very loud. The peaceful ripples quickly fade. Just like any chance of Rake having a quiet afternoon in his personal paradise. Meanwhile, halfway across the globe, in the bustling, vibrant chaos of Mumbai, we're introduced to Ovi Mahajan Jr., the son of India's biggest, and currently incarcerated, crime lord, Ovi Mahajan Sr. He's at a fancy party, probably wishing he was anywhere else, perhaps playing video games or literally watching paint dry, anything but being here. Suddenly, the evening takes a decidedly unpleasant turn as a less-than-friendly group of masked men crash the festivities. These aren't your typical partygoers. They're heavily armed, ruthless, and absolutely not there for the canapes or the DJ. Their target is Ovi Jr., snatched right from under the noses of his ineffective bodyguards, who probably should have seen this coming. The shrieks of terrified guests, the clatter of overturned tables, and the ominous thump of automatic weapon butts hitting the floor fill the air. This isn't just a simple kidnapping, folks. These guys are working for Amir Asif, a truly ruthless Bangladeshi drug lord and a bitter rival to Ovi Sr. This brazen act is a clear declaration of war in the underworld, setting the stage for some serious, explosive fireworks, and completely ruining Ovi Jr.'s social calendar and mental well-being for the foreseeable future. He's now a vulnerable pawn in a brutal game of power, back at his lavish, yet now isolated, estate. Ovi Sr. is incarcerated, which, as you can imagine, puts a bit of a damper on his day-to-day operations and his ability to micromanage. This leaves his fiercely loyal chief of security, Sayu, in a truly unenviable, soul-crushing position. Ovi Sr., a man who clearly understands leverage, delivers a chilling ultimatum through the phone. Sayu must personally rescue his son, Ovi Jr., from the clutches of Amir Asif, or else Sayu's own beloved family will pay the ultimate, unspeakable price. Talk about a bad performance review, right? The cold, metallic voice of Ovi Sr. on the line sends shivers down Sayu's spine. Despite his hardened exterior and years of dealing with dangerous situations, Sayu is caught squarely between a rock and a very, very hard place. He's a man of duty, bound by loyalty, but this mission is essentially a suicide run, a solo trip, into a lion's den without even a flimsy shield. We see the raw desperation etched on his face, the muscles in his jaw clenching, as he understands the bone-chilling gravity of his boss's cold, calculating words. This isn't just a job, it's a last-ditch, deeply personal effort to save everything he holds dear, even if it means betraying his boss's methods later to pay for a mercenary. The silence that follows the call is deafening, filled with the weight of his impossible choice. Meanwhile, Ovi Sr., ever the schemer, always has a contingency plan. Even from behind the steel bars of his prison cell, he taps Nick Khan, a formidable, no-nonsense mercenary broker who can get things done, usually by hiring people who also get things done violently and for a hefty fee. Nick, ever the pragmatist, and perhaps having a soft spot for chaos, or at least the kind of chaos that pays well, immediately thinks of Tyler Rake. She knows he's the absolute best in the business, even if he does come with his own substantial set of emotional baggage, a common perk, it seems, in this particular line of work, like a complimentary souvenir. The briefing is clinical, cold, and focused purely on the immense danger and, of course, the substantial payout that would make even a crime lord blink. Dhaka, Bangladesh, where Ovi Jr. is being held, is practically a fortress controlled by Amir Asif. Every street, every alley, every rooftop is under his thumb, making this a near impossible snatch and grab. The static hum of the satellite connection, as Nick speaks, adds to the underlying tension. She warns Rake, her voice firm, about the suicidal nature of the mission, but he's already checked out, mentally preparing for the next adrenaline rush, possibly just to feel anything at all after. all his past losses. The job is accepted with a grim, almost reluctant nod, as if he's already signed his own death warrant. Rake, a man of few words and even fewer visible emotions but many, many bullet wounds, is literally dropped into Dhaka. He parachutes silently, under the cloak of night, a ghost descending into a city that feels like it's perpetually on hyper-caffeinated overload, bathed in the garish glow of neon signs and streetlights. The air is thick with the oppressive humidity, the rich, complex smells of street food and exhaust fumes, and the low, omnipresent hum of a million lives buzzing below. But Rake isn't here for sightseeing, nor is he looking for the best street vendor. He's here for a job, a deadly dance through the city's grimy underbelly. The oppressive, almost suffocating atmosphere of the city is practically a character itself, a grimy, suffocating blanket that sets the perfect stage for the chaos to come. Every flickering shadow seems to hold a potential threat, every narrow alley a guaranteed ambush. It's not exactly a five-star vacation spot, unless your idea of luxury involves constant peril and a high probability of grievous bodily harm. The gentle rustle of his parachute above gives way to the thud of his boots on a forgotten rooftop. Moving with the predatory grace of a phantom with a really big gun, Rake infiltrates the hideout. The faint creak of floorboards and the almost imperceptible swish of his tactical gear are the only sounds as he navigates the dusty, cluttered warehouse. The oppressive quiet is punctuated only by the brutal efficiency of his takedowns. Each enemy drops without a sound, a testament to Rake's lethal precision. He's efficient, brutal, and completely unconcerned with anything but the mission. He finally finds Ovi Jr., who, understandably, is less than thrilled to see another heavily armed stranger, even if this one supposedly on his side. Ovi is tied to a chair, his eyes wide with fear, the dull clang of unseen metal in the background adding to his terror. Rake cuts him loose with a gruff, terse command to follow. The kid is a bundle of nerves, terrified and bewildered, a stark contrast to Rake's stone-cold professionalism. It's a moment of quiet, charged tension, the combi for the absolutely deafening, bullet-riddled storm that's about to break. And just like that, the quiet is violently shattered. The crack of gunfire erupts, immediately deafening as they're discovered. Rake doesn't flinch. He simply transforms into a whirlwind of tactical violence, a one-man army clearing a bloody path. He unleashes a shotgun with devastating, visceral effect, the thunderous boom echoing through the cavernous warehouse as bodies are flung backward, punctuated by the shatter of glass and the ping of ricocheting bullets. Just when you think Rake might actually have a nanosecond to breathe, or perhaps even check his rearview mirror, another curveball, or rather, another heavy black SUV, comes screaming onto the scene. And guess who's behind the wheel? None other than Sayu, Ovi Sr.'s chief of security. He brutally rams Rake's vehicle, sending a jarring crunch of metal and a screech of tires reverberating through the street. Plot twist, Sayu isn't here to help out. He's here to take Ovi Jr. back himself, thereby fulfilling his grim ultimatum and saving his own family. The sudden, violent clash of metal, the continued screech of tires, and the shout of frustrated drivers are a sudden escalation of an already out-of-control situation. Rake, ever the pragmatic professional, processes this startling, unwelcome betrayal in mere microseconds. It's not personal, just business, but it definitely complicates things. Now, he's not just fighting a mere as-if's endless stream of goons, but also a highly skilled, desperate operative with a very personal, very family-oriented stake in the outcome. It's a truly unenviable position, but then again, when is anything in Rake's life ever simple? The chase through the sprawling, perpetually jammed arteries of Dhaka immediately erupts into pure vehicular pandemonium. Rake's beat-up SUV becomes a battering ram, a bullet magnet, and a makeshift fortress all at once. The constant thump-thump-thump of rounds impacting metal, the horrific shatter of glass, and the groan of the engine struggling under the strain create a terrifying symphony of destruction. Ovi Jr., strapped into the back seat, is probably experiencing more pure, undiluted adrenaline in these 5 minutes than most people do in a lifetime his small hands clutching the seat. Sayu is absolutely relentless in his pursuit, his personal desperation fueling every aggressive maneuver, while Amir Asif's men are just trying to hit anything that moves, often without much concern for collateral damage. It's a masterclass in chaotic, high-stakes urban driving, with Rake pulling off defensive and offensive maneuvers that would make a seasoned stunt driver blush and possibly retire on the spot. The exhaust fumes mix with the smell of burning rubber and impending doom. This is where Extraction truly flexes its cinematic muscles, delivering one of the most insane, hard-pounding one-sequences in recent memory. Rake and Ovi are violently forced to abandon their vehicle after a truly spectacular, bone-jarring crash. The shrieking grind of metal against concrete, the pop of airbags, and the subsequent deafening silence are stark punctuation marks. They immediately dive into a nearby building, and the camera, like an invisible, relentless companion, follows them, never cutting, never blinking. Rake unleashes a brutal, clinical barrage of close-quarters combat. The crack of every punch, the thud of every body hitting the floor, the spit of silenced pistol shots. It's all incredibly visceral, making you wince with every blow. He's a human wrecking ball, a storm of controlled violence, dragging Ovi through the building, up and down stairs, through tight corridors, in a frantic, desperate dance with death. The air is thick with dust, sweat, and the metallic tang of blood as he clears a path with brutal efficiency. The one continues its breathtaking, claustrophobic journey as Rake and Ovi stumble into a small, already occupied apartment. The space is instantly too small for the amount of violence about to erupt. More of Asif's goons, seemingly appearing out of thin air, swarm them. Rake is a master of adaptation, using the environment to his advantage. A chair leg snaps, becoming an instant bludgeon. A lamp shatters, plunging a corner into momentary darkness. The guttural grunts of Rake's exertions mix with the sharp cries of his opponent as he delivers devastating blows. The camera, still relentlessly following, captures every desperate struggle, every fleeting expression of terror on Ovi's face. Rake is a man possessed, a force of nature driven by the singular goal of protecting the boy, even if it means sacrificing every ounce of his own well-being. The sounds of breaking furniture and the frantic scramble of feet create a terrifying symphony of confined combat. From the cramped confines of the apartment, the one bursts out onto the dizzying, sun-baked rooftops of Dhaka. The sheer scale of the city spreads out below them, an endless sea of concrete and corrugated iron, a truly terrifying backdrop for their escape. The incredible, death-defying leaps between buildings, it's a parkour masterclass mixed with an active war zone. You can practically feel the rush of wind past your face as they make impossible jumps, the frantic scramble to maintain balance on uneven surfaces. The constant ping of bullets off concrete, the whoosh of air as they cross gaps, are their only terrifying soundtrack. It's not just a chase, it's a relentless test of endurance, a gritty, grounded spectacle that makes you wonder if Chris Hemsworth secretly has a superhero landing setting on his internal GPS, the scrar up of their shoes on the rough surfaces, and the distant shouts of pursuers add to the overwhelming sense of urgency and danger. From the heights of the rooftops, they plunge back down to the chaotic, street-level labyrinth below, the one never letting up. The dense crowds, the impossibly narrow alleyways, the sudden appearance of motorbikes, it's a living, breathing, choking obstacle course. Rake's hand-to-hand skills are on full, brutal display, each snap and gasp of his opponents incredibly clear. He uses anything and everything as a weapon or a makeshift shield, demonstrating a brutal, primal ingenuity. The constant thrum of the city, the shouts of terrified civilians, and the clink of spent casings mix with the splutter of engines and the smell of burning oil, creating an overwhelming sensory assault. Briefly, they dive into a grimy sewer. The slosh of fetid water and the dank, earthy smell a temporary, if disgusting, refuge before they are forced back into the relentless fight. It's clear that Rake is operating on pure, animalistic instincts and a bottomless well of adrenaline at this point, truly pushing past human limits. After that absolute, grueling marathon of an action sequence, Rake and Ovi finally find a temporary, fragile sanctuary in what looks like a forgotten, abandoned apartment. The sudden, profound silence after the cacophony of gunfire, explosions, and screams is almost jarring, a weight lifted, however briefly. Ovi is a complete mess, shaken to his core, every nerve ending screaming, while Rake is merely tired. The man, it seems, is made of sterner, almost inhuman stuff, but even he has just when Rake thinks they're safe for a minute, and maybe Ovi might finally stop hyperventilating, enter Gaspar, an old comrade in arms. Played by the wonderfully charismatic David Harbour, he appears like a friendly, albeit slightly greasy and suspiciously well-informed, apparition. He offers food, water, and the promise of a safe place, a moment of what feels like genuine, life-saving relief from the relentless pressure. He seems like a godsend, a lifeline thrown into a raging storm. He then tells a poignant story about Rake's past, about his family, about the crushing guilt that gnaws at him over his dead son. It's a rare, tender peek behind the mercenary curtain, showing us that Rake isn't just a combat cyborg, but a man haunted by profound personal tragedy. The clink of beer bottles, the soft rustle of food wrappers, and the murmur of conversation provide a dangerously false sense of security, almost lulling us into believing that maybe, just maybe, they're actually safe. But this is a mercenary movie, folks, and in this brutal line of work, nobody stays friendly for long, especially not when a massive payout is involved. The fragile moment of quiet trust is violently shattered as Gaspar, with a sickening grin, reveals his true, insidious colors. He pulls a gun, his eyes now cold and calculating, announcing his intention to sell Ovi Jr. to Amir Asif for a truly massive bounty. The chilling click of the safety being disengaged is the piercing sound of trust shattering into a million pieces. Rake, ever the cynic, probably saw it coming a mile away, but it still stings, a bitter taste in the mouth. This isn't just another fight. It's a battle against a ghost from his past, a stark, painful reminder that in this brutal world, loyalty is just another commodity, easily bought and sold. Ovi Jr.'s wide, terrified eyes are a stark, innocent counterpoint to Rake's grim, battle-hardened determination. Gaspar's men emerge from the shadows, making the escape route seem impossibly thin, almost non-existent. The apartment, once a brief sanctuary, immediately erupts into a vicious, no-holds-barred melee. Rake, despite the bitter taste of betrayal, doesn't hesitate for even a nanosecond. He's a professional, and professionals deal with problems head-on, even if those problems happen to be old friends turned enemies. The snap of bones, the guttural grunt of exertion, the rapid-fire bang-bang-bang of handguns, it's a chaotic, deafening symphony of violence confined to a painfully small space. Gaspar, a formidable opponent himself, honed by years of similar brutality, matches Rake blow for blow, adding a deeply personal, desperate edge to the already brutal combat. Every thump against the flimsy walls, every smash of cheap furniture, screams of the raw, desperate brutality unfolding. Ovi Jr. is, once again, an unwilling, traumatized spectator, witnessing the very darkest side of humanity up close and intensely personal. The smell of gun smoke and stale beer fills the air, a grim perfume for the unfolding carnage. Rake's movements are fluid, deadly, a testament to years of fighting for survival. In the immediate, heavy aftermath of the brutal, apartment-shattering fight, with Gaspar and his men finally neutralized, there's a rare, unexpected moment of profound tenderness. Rake, bruised and bleeding, his face streaked with sweat and grime, finally allows a glimpse behind his impenetrable wall. He opens up to Ovi, revealing the crushing guilt he carries over the devastating loss of his own young son. He talks about how he abandoned his child to go on a critical deployment, and by the time he returned, his son was tragically gone, taken by illness. The raw honesty, the barely perceptible tremor in his usually stoic, gravelly voice, is utterly profound, stripping away his hardened exterior to reveal the grieving father beneath. The heavy silence in the room is palpable, thick with unspoken grief and a nascent, painful understanding that begins to blossom between the two. It's a powerful scene, demonstrating that even the toughest, most emotionally walled-off mercenary has a heart, albeit one shattered by an unimaginable loss and burdened by eternal regret. As Rake and Ovi continue their desperate dash through the labyrinthine city, dodging more of a mere as if's seemingly endless, relentlessly pursuing goons, salvation, in a manner of speaking, arrives from an unexpected or at least far-off quarter. Nick Khan and her highly skilled team, perched like deadly hawks on a distant, overlooking rooftop, begin to provide much-needed, pinpoint cover fire. The distinct, almost rhythmic cracked whack of their high-powered sniper rifles cutting through the din of the city means that Rake isn't completely alone anymore. A small comfort in a world of constant threats, the precision of their shots, the way enemies suddenly drop with a wet thud, is a testament to their professionalism. The arrival of the team, even from afar, is a breath of fresh, bullet-riddled air, adding vital firepower and strategic advantage to their increasingly impossible escape. It's a stark reminder that even in this dog-eat-dog world, some bonds of professionalism, and perhaps even friendship, still hold strong, a lifeline extended through the chaos. The final, harrowing leg of their extraction mission leads them to a colossal, imposing bridge, effectively a massive choke point, absolutely crawling with the mere as if's heavily armed forces. It's less a bridge and more a meticulously prepared kill zone, something straight out of a medieval siege, only with substantially more automatic weapons and less chivalry. The distant rumble of heavy vehicles, the ominous clank of metal boots on the bridge's weathered surface, and the ever-present, almost suffocating hum of the city below set an incredibly foreboding tone. Rake, with a grim set to his jaw, knows this is it, do or die, victory or oblivion. There's no subtlety or stealth left to deploy here. It's going to be a full-frontal assault, a desperate, suicidal dash through what promises to be an absolute hail of lead. Ovi Jr., clutching Rake's hand, watches him with wide, terrified eyes, clearly placing all his trust in the hardened mercenary to somehow get him through this living, breathing nightmare. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a very dull butter knife. The very moment Rake and Ovi step onto the bridge, all hell breaks loose with an immediate, terrifying ferocity. The air is instantly thick with the whine of bullets zipping past their ears, the deafening roar of explosions tearing apart the concrete, and the metallic clang of rounds impacting the bridge's steel structure. It's a cacophony of pure, unadulterated warfare and assault on every sense. Rake, now fully transformed into a force of nature, pushes Ovi forward with a powerful shove, using his own battered body as a human shield, all while returning fire with a lethal, almost practiced precision. Their path across the bridge is a narrow, dangerous corridor of death, with enemies seemingly spawning from every angle, their weapons spitting fire. It's an overwhelming sensory experience, a testament to the fact that sometimes the only way out is straight through the inferno. The sheer scale and unexpected brutality of the ambush are utterly terrifying, leaving no doubt that Asif wanted to make a bloody in a truly surprising twist of fate, and a moment of profound, raw redemption. Sayu reappears on the bridge, not as an antagonist, but as an unlikely, incredibly brave ally. He makes the ultimate sacrifice, deliberately drawing the bulk of Amir, Asif's overwhelming forces toward him, effectively becoming a human decoy. The insistent rat-a-tat-tat of his automatic rifle is soon utterly overwhelmed by the relentless return fire from countless enemy weapons. He's buying Rake and Ovi precious, life-saving seconds with his final, desperate actions, a last-ditch effort to save his own family indirectly by ensuring Ovi Jr.'s survival. The raw courage, the sheer selflessness displayed in his final, gasping moments are heartbreakingly clear, underscored by the thud of his body as he finally falls, a true, tragic warrior till the very end. The sharp crack of a final, fatal shot echoes, and then a horrible silence where Sayu once stood, now filled only with the whine of bullets still seeking targets. With Sayu's heroic sacrifice, the path across the bridge is marginally clearer. but Rake is taking a brutal, relentless beating. He's bleeding profusely from multiple wounds, likely broken in several places, his body screaming in protest, but his resolve, somehow, remains utterly unbreakable. He shoves Ovi forward with a desperate, guttural growl, his voice hoarse with exertion, the constant ping of bullets impacting the concrete around them a terrifying, ever-present reminder of their peril. He's operating purely on primal instinct, and a newfound, desperate, almost paternal connection to the boy. Every agonizing step is a monumental effort, every shot fired a testament to his sheer, indomitable will to protect Ovi, the exhaustion, the bone-deep pain, the sheer physical toll. It's all brutally visible on his blood-streaked face, but he keeps pushing, a human shield for the kid, his body a bulwark against the storm of bullets. It's less a tactical advance and more a desperate crawl toward something resembling salvation. Finally, after an ordeal that would break most adults, Ovi Jr. reaches the waiting extraction helicopter. The outstretched, firm hands of Nick's team pull him swiftly to safety, the powerful whirring of the rotors a triumphant, albeit temporary, sound of true salvation. He's safe. The mission is, technically, a success, the primary objective achieved. But Ovi, now secure in the helicopter, looks back, his wide, tear-filled eyes fixed on Rake, still fighting, still covering his escape, alone, blooded figure against an army. There's a silent plea in that look, a desperate, childlike hope that his unlikely protector, this weary, broken warrior, will somehow make it too. The whoosh of the helicopter taking off, gaining altitude, is a moment of bittersweet, agonizing victory, marking Ovi's escape, but, in a cruel twist of fate, seemingly sealing Rake's tragic destiny. The gap between them widens, a chasm of impending doom, with Ovi safely aboard the helicopter, ascending into the relative calm of the sky. Rake is truly, utterly alone, a wounded, cornered animal facing an insurmountable pack. The sheer volume of Amir Azif's forces still swarming the bridge is overwhelming, their intent clear. He fights until his very last breath, his movements now sluggish, fueled only by pure, unadulterated grit and a desperate, defiant refusal to surrender. The clang of his empty magazine hitting the concrete ground is almost as impactful and final as the thud of a bullet finally finding its mark in his already battered body. He's shot, and the raw, agonizing impact sends him reeling backward. He stares at the dark, churning river below, a mirror of the fleeting peace he sought at the film's beginning, a cold, indifferent embrace. With one last, defiant, almost wistful look over his shoulder, as if acknowledging a job completed, he plummets over the edge, the splash almost swallowed by the fading sounds of the battle. His fate seemingly sealed. Months later, the dust has settled on the brutal streets of Dhaka, but the score, oh no, the score has definitely not been forgotten. Nick Khan, a woman of her word and a fiercely loyal friend, embarks on her own personal mission of retribution. She tracks down the smug, vile Amir Asif, the man who orchestrated so much death and despair. She finds him in what looks like a ridiculously opulent restroom, probably contemplating his next evil scheme, or perhaps just admiring his villainous reflection. There's no dramatic monologue, no lengthy, drawn-out confrontation, no cheesy villain banter, just cold, hard, dispassionate justice. The thud of her suppressed pistol is the only sound needed, quiet, efficient, and utterly final. It's a brutal, satisfying, if brief, moment of poetic retribution for the apparent death of her friend and partner, Tyler Rake. This scene serves as a stark reminder that while the hero might fall, the truly rotten bad guys don't always get to live happily ever after. Some debts, it seems, must always be paid. The mission, despite its devastating personal cost and the rivers of blood spilled, ultimately achieved its primary objective. Ovi Jr. is safe. He's back with his powerful, if morally questionable, father, albeit now carrying the heavy scars of his harrowing ordeal. The once terrified boy is now a quietly contemplative young man, forever changed by his brush with death. And Sashu's family, the innocent collateral damage in this brutal conflict, eventually receives the promised payment, a large sum of money, a bittersweet, tangible consolation for their immense, irreparable loss. The soft wrestle of the money changing hands is a quiet, almost somber acknowledgement of the brutal, transactional economy of this underworld. It's a moment of necessary closure for some, but the haunting echoes of violence and profound sacrifice linger in the air. The world of these characters moves on, but not without consequence, a lingering shadow cast by the events of Dhaka. It's a testament to the fact that even in victory, especially in this world, there is always a steep, often agonizing price to be paid. In the final, haunting moments of the film, we see Ovi Jr. at his school pool, now seemingly safe and sound, finally able to just be a kid again, or at least try his very best. The gentle splash of the water, the familiar murmur of other children playing, are a stark, comforting contrast to the recent chaos. As he surfaces from the cool, clear water, taking a deep breath, his eyes drift towards the edge of the pool deck. There, standing watching him from a distance, is a blurred, almost spectral presence. Is it Tyler Rake? Is it a ghost, a figment of Ovi's trauma-addled imagination? Is it just Ovi's desperate, wishful thinking, his mind playing tricks on him, hoping for the return of his unlikely protector? The deliberate ambiguity is what makes it so powerful, leaving us, the audience, to wonder and debate the true fate of our seemingly invincible, yet profoundly broken, mercenary. The movie ends on a note of lingering hope, tempered by the lingering doubt, a quiet, open-ended farewell to a world forever changed. And that, my friends, is Extraction, a movie that doesn't just deliver on relentless, bone-jarring action, but also surprisingly explores the hidden depths of grief, the unexpected, powerful bonds formed in the crucible of chaos, and the enduring human capacity for profound sacrifice. It reminds us that even in the darkest, most morally ambiguous corners of the world, where lines are constantly blurred and survival is paramount, there can still be glimmers of unexpected humanity and the chance for a quiet, personal redemption. It makes you deeply think about the true price of a life and the agonizing, often bloody cost of saving one. What a journey!